Recording's on. Are you guys ready to start? So thank you guys for coming. This is Jimmie Wilson, who's running for, I'm on the Alameda County District Attorney. Right? Yes, and we have his campaign manager here, Saunders, here. Thank you guys for coming. Oh. You guys there?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys hear what I was just saying?
Yes.
Okay, so you guys are free to start. We have a few people here. They'll be listening. You guys are the camera's over here, but you're being projected on a screen like that's right over there. Just so you know, they're not like looking over here. That's why.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Well, we want to thank you for a topic that is it's going to hit all of you guys as you become adults and you reach your voting ages. And if you ever think about what you want to do in life and how the battles and the changes that we take in life, I think it's really important that you hear from people when you hear different perspectives. I'm running for Alameda County District Attorney. To understand why I'm running for district attorney, you got to understand my background. I grew up in a pretty tough San Francisco. Spent 16 years working as a plumber. After about 14 years of that 16 years, I hurt my back and I started to think about what I was going to do next. And what I decided to do was to go to school. I was going to become a contractor. I was going to get my contracting license. And for some reason, I took a different route. I started to look into the law. I started thinking about being a lawyer. In fact, I thought I was going to become a And what ended up happening, I took an interview with the Alameda County District Attorney's Office. I got into their program, their law clerk program, did that for a summer and got to try my first case. And then I was hooked. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I think that going into politics, my initial motivation was because I really wanted to make things better in my office. I was people in my office. I actually was closer to people that we were serving both victims and defendants than I was to the understanding of people who were, who went from their parents' house to undergrad to law school and then come into the office and start prosecuting cases. My perspective was grounded in my story. It was grounded in the things that I saw that the criminal justice system wasn't doing right. And what pushed me into politics there were some people in my office who during my 16-year career, 85% of that has been spent trying cases. And that's what I enjoy doing. But when I start thinking about politics, I start thinking about, well, if my initial motivation was to do something to help people, becoming DA is another step towards that same goal. And so I started thinking about how I was going to do it. I sat down with friends, I sat down with my family, and we decided to make a run at it. If you're thinking about politics in your life, I think one of the main skills that you have to have is that you have to be able to think on your feet. You have to be able to engage with people, and you have to genuinely care about people that you're talking to. We all have seen politicians in our lives where they're just giving you lip service, they're just talking to you, but there's no genuine desire to make people's lives better. And one of the reasons why I think that I am the perfect person for this job is that all my motivations are geared towards other people. They're not about me. I try not to make it about me. I try to make it about them. When I was as a prosecutor and I'm trying a case, I'm always thinking about my victims. I do a lot of community work. I'm involved in the NAACP and other groups. When I'm doing that work, I'm always thinking about our community. I'm always thinking, how can I impact our community? How can we make it safer for people? How can we protect people's civil rights? Those things are really important to me. You have to have critical thinking skills. You have to be able to analyze information and be able to relay that information to other people in a coherent and in a common way, so everyone can understand it, whether it's the business owner or the young person or the homeless person or the person living in poverty. You have to be able to communicate information to people, and you have to have empathy for them. You got to have knowledge of the procedures of the court system, government regulations, things of that nature. That's like really important. So in your civics class, most lawyers, most politicians, in fact, I saw a study in the New York Times, 70% of people in the House of Representatives have legal degrees, which is because you spend your time reading regulations, looking at rules. You have to be able to think on your feet, and you have to be able to digest that information and give it back to people in a coherent way. And you have to be able to reach everyone. You can't just, I always say, you can't always gear your message to the person who's overly educated. You also have to be able to give that information to someone who is maybe living on the margins, who wants to understand what you can do for them. You have to be able to listen. That's really important. When you engage people, you have to be able to listen to their concerns and not make it about you and kind of make it about them. Those are some of the most important parts of being a politician and going into politics, but it always comes back to that initial motivation. It always comes back to, why are you doing this? Are you doing this for the right reasons? I can tell you that my motivation is because I think I can make things better. And I want to make things better, not just for some people, but for everyone. And that's difficult to do because people have different perspectives. So that's kind of a little bit of my background, who I am and why I do what I do. And some of the things, if you're thinking about going into politics, some of the things you need to think about. There is no career path to become a politician. We know that there's been celebrities we've had an actor become president. We had a governor of California who was an actor. There's no real career path. All I can tell you is that you have to be motivated by your own personal desires to do good things.
Okay, I think I'll jump in. So to piggyback on what Jimmie said, first of all, hi everybody. My name is Christine, and I am Jimmie's campaign manager, for lack of a better title. I completely agree that if you want to go into politics, you're doing it because there's something you feel incredibly passionate about in your community. Whatever that community is, whether that's your school community and you're running for a school elected position, whether that's the town you live in, the county you live in, the state or the country that you live in, there's something that really drives you, that you feel really passionately about and that you want to change. And so you get involved into politics because the power of the people is real. And when we motivate our community and the people around us to help us make change, that's when we see people's lives improve. So to give you guys just like a little bit of background about how I ended up here. So I went to undergraduate at USC down in Southern California. I kind of grew up in Central California. And when I went to college, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I graduated. I majored in psychology and Spanish in college, and government and sort of anything in kind of that vein. I found myself taking those types of classes, and I think that's something to pay a lot of attention to as you guys head on to college. For those of you that are thinking about taking, going down that road, is to pay attention when you have choices in college about what you seem to be drawn towards. When I graduated from college, I really didn't know what I wanted to, and so I joined going to New York and eighth graders in Teach for America program. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with it, it's a program that takes college graduates who are committed to teaching in some of the country's most underfunded schools. And we get placed into public schools and we teach there. My experience in the public schools in New York was shocking, to put it lightly. And all of whom were children of color. And during that experience, I kind of came to the conclusion that in some ways my kids needed a lawyer as much as they needed a teacher, because the system just was not educating my kids the way that they deserved. It wasn't giving them access to the services that they deserved. And it was frustrating. And I felt like there wasn't anything I could do where I was. When I left Teach for America, I went to law school at UC Hastings, and I got connected to the district attorney's office, and ended up, like Jimmie, trying a case in the district attorney's office and feeling like, this is really something that I want to do, and I feel like I can make an impact here. As district attorney, police arrest someone, they bring the police report or the case over to the district attorney's office. The district attorney's office looks at the case. They decide what charges to file and how they want to prosecute that case. So do they want that person to get access to rehabilitation or diversion? Do they think that that person should go to jail or to prison or be put on probation? The district attorney's office has all of that power and all of that discretion to decide. People in the district attorney's office with my background, with Jimmie's background, people that had worked with kids that, represented a lot of the kids that unfortunately were coming through the criminal system, that I could be an advocate inside the system to do something different, to use criminal cases potentially as a way to see kids as whole people, to see defendants as whole people that deserve second chances, that deserved other opportunities. I felt like that perspective put me in a position more empathetic. Our office, the district attorney's office in Alameda County. And for those of you that aren't aware, Alameda County is Berkeley in the north, all the way to Fremont in the south, and out to Livermore in the east. So you guys are all represented by the same criminal justice system, the Alameda County District Attorney's Office. And I came to believe that the district attorney's office just was not serving our community the way that it deserved. And the person that I felt like really represented what I thought our office should be doing was Jimmie. Jimmie was always the person I went to in our office for advice. If I was unsure of whether something was ethical or it was okay to do, if I needed advice on how to prosecute a case or how to think about a case, Jimmie was the person I went and talked to. I trusted him implicitly and I really respected him. And so At a certain point, I said, you know what, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to help you get elected to be our next district attorney. And so I've really taken a leap of faith. And I think for anybody who's thinking about going into politics, that's really something that it takes is a huge leap of faith that, you know, this is the right moment and it's something that you really want to do. So what does my day-to-day look like as a campaign manager? You know, for those of you that are thinking about working on the nuts and bolts of a political campaign, because you guys are all at the perfect age to get involved in political campaigns. Political campaigns are grassroots run. They are scrappy. Oftentimes, you know, they start off with people who don't totally know what they're doing, but everybody comes to this job with a common purpose and a common goal. And so you guys can look around your own communities and find elections of all shapes and sizes, for school boards to county district attorneys, to people running for state positions, city positions, national positions, and all of those campaigns, I'll tell each of you guys, has an open door to you if you want to come and, you know, if you want to go and volunteer. If you find a campaign that's representing something you really care about, just shoot them an email and tell them you want to get involved. So campaigning looks like making a lot of phone calls to voters, talking to people about the issues, getting them energized around your candidate or your issue. Campaigns today get really creative. A lot of, especially, I'm sorry, that's my dog. 1 second. Max. With the pandemic and everything going virtual and people kind of being uneasy with being in the same space as other people, a lot of the work we're doing is on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, hopefully one day on TikTok and Clubhouse, and, you know, trying to find creative ways to reach as many people as you possibly can with your message. So campaigns need people that are really savvy on computers, that like to do digital art and digital marketing work, people that are really savvy with social media. You know, if you sit at home and you love Instagram and you love TikTok and you love Facebook, those are skills that you have in today's job market, both for companies and for politicians, to help them reach people that, you know, as many people as they can. Fundraising is a really big part of political campaigns. So it's really about getting people to care about what your campaign is all about and getting them to part with their money, because campaigns are really, really expensive. You know, unfortunately, money and politics kind of go hand in hand, but you know, those yard signs that you guys see around the time that elections are happening, or those things that get hung on your house's door, those door knockers, or if your parents ever seem annoyed because they're getting piles of election stuff in their mail, all of that is getting designed and produced by political campaigns and sent out to people to try and get the vote out. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, I really encourage you guys, like starting from now, to get involved with some of that kind of stuff. And you know, a lot of the people that are involved in politics that I've talked to, I'm new to this, but you know, a lot of them, their story usually starts with being your age or in college and walking into the district office of a candidate that was running for office and just saying, hey, how can I help? And then kind of finding, because campaigns are a lot like startups, it's like just everybody wears every hat and everyone's doing everything. And so you can really, it's a great place to sort of find what drives you and find what about your personality you want to put into a job that you have in the future. So if politics are interesting to you guys, I strongly encourage you to get involved. Leave it at that.
Thank you, guys. We have some students here. This is a perfect time if you want to ask any questions, specifically Mr. Wilson or Ms. Saunders. It's a great time to you guys have any questions. They want to ask them about their backgrounds, about their experiences. What are you guys? Any questions? Did you want to learn anything about, you know, like Mr. Wilson's legal background? Does is the perfect kind of ask. You got one-on-one access.
Guys have any questions about the criminal justice system or the police or anything like that, you can ask those questions too.
Is there anything you guys want to talk about? Share about, you know, because Mr. Wilson, you work as a deputy district attorney currently, right?
I'm doing in office right now. I just finished a trial last week, a murder trial. I've done, gosh, 85% of my career has been in trial. I've done child sexual assault, murder cases, robbery cases, gang cases. It is, I can tell you guys, even if you're not thinking about politics, or if you're thinking about the law, or you're thinking about going into a district attorney's office, and you think that this may be something that you were afraid to do because you don't know anyone who's ever done this kind of work, you can always reach out to I grew up in an area where it was pretty tough. Like the schools were really bad. There were a lot of illiteracy going on. There was a lot of poverty, a lot of crime. And I didn't know any lawyers. I didn't know the path to becoming a lawyer. I didn't know if I had the ability to do it myself. And I did it later in life. And thinking about how hard it was to do that, most of my challenges were that I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to start. I didn't know that you had to take the LSAT. I didn't know that I did my own research. So if you're thinking about not just being a politician, but thinking about anything professionally, and there's something in your life, I would suggest that you talk to people in that industry, talk to professionals. People love talking about themselves, and they love talking about how they've gotten to the places that they're at. So don't be shy and afraid to reach out to anyone. Like say, talk to your friends. Say, hey, do you think I could talk to your mom? You think she could give me like 30 minutes of her time to tell me how she became a doctor? I mean, I can tell you guys that the hardest part of being young is that is the future, and you don't know what your future is going to look like. And sometimes some people know exactly what they're going to do. Were born. I transitioned from 3 careers. I was working for a company where I started my own company where I was like cleaning floors, and I had my classmates when I was in college cleaning floors. Went into a plumbing contractor, working in their warehouse, and then I became a plumber. And then from a plumber, I became a lawyer. So you can wear different hats. Your journey is your journey. Your journey may not be the same as your friend's journey. But unless you do the research and ask people and talk to people and do your due diligence, you will never know what you can do. You never know what you can achieve. So I can tell you, don't be shy about it. Kind of
to try something different or to move on to a different career, as intimidating as it can seem. And I know for you guys where you're at in your life path, you know, for the law, there's no specific degree you need to have. There's no classes you need to have taken in undergrad to go to law school. The law touches literally everything that you do in your life, everything from art and, you know, copyright and music and sports. I mean, I remember in college, I took a class around sports marketing and business and the law, to the criminal justice system. The law touches literally everything. And so there's no set path you had to have taken in undergrad to apply to law school. You just need to take the LSAT and fill out an application. So, you know, that pursue the things that you are interested in, figure out the things that you really care about, figure out the things that drive you, and just remember that the doors never close. You can always try something different. You can always move on to something new. I never thought I was going to be involved in politics. So,
Me either.
so
All right. Thank you guys for sharing. Does anybody have any questions before, because lunch is almost over, so you guys have like a few minutes left. Do you have any questions for Mr. Wilson and Ms. Saunders? Any? Do you have any questions about that? All right. Well, that's it. You guys don't have anything left to share. Want to thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much for giving us insight on your, careers, your past, what you guys have been doing, what your goals are. Thank you so much for coming to our school.
yep.
Thanks for inviting us.
Have a
Anytime.
good one, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. See you later.